Yep.
Okay.
So what I did was working up the current site and moving it over to my, which is the URL that you see up here, casandbox.us. I'll put the link in the chat so everyone can access it. And what this does is a couple things. Number one, my servers are way faster than anything that you would get through like GoDaddy or anybody else. So the speed of the site just works much faster. As you can see, when you start clicking through the site, things just load so much faster because of the platform that I use. Number one. Number two, we have a state-of-the-art security system. So what that does is if you try to hack the site and you guess more than, I forgot if it's 3 or 5 times, not only does it ban your IP address permanently, it will block you from seeing any of the websites on any of the servers that we have. So sometimes if you were to log in and my server thinks that there's something wrong, the software, the AI that's in it will block you. All you have to do is just send me an email with your IP address, and then I can unblock you permanently so you don't have to worry about getting blocked again. So it's not too sensitive, but it's sensitive enough that if it sees that you're trying to snoop into parts of the site or my server where you shouldn't be, it will, block your IP address. So I know Cersei had been working on something in the background, and one of the other issues that I had with the migration were the forwarders that you guys use. So I have to set that up and test it. And then we can make at least the existing website that you have live on my server where it'll be protected. You know, any viruses or malware will be stripped and we don't have to worry about that anymore. And then backups are done daily automatically on my server, both locally through a backup system that's on the rack, and externally, which is done through an encrypted outside in case the place where that's hosting our servers were to burn down, then we have that backed up offsite. So it's, you know, pretty cool stuff that we have going on for that.
So just a quick question, a clarification, Alex, what we're looking at right here is not www.harvardpublichealthreview.org. This is
no.
This is a testing site for your server, and an example
server, yes.
that's on your server, and it kind of gives folks an idea of how the site is going to operate once it's officially migrated over to your server.
Yes. So like I was saying, what, you know, the big thing is the speed of the site. So if I go to your existing site, the harvardpublichealthreview.org, and you can see like things just kind of slowly load when you go through it. So you're going to be getting like a 5 times faster loading time. And then things like the back end where you log in, we fix that on our end so you don't get that login error that you currently do. And it's just going to eliminate all the issues that whoever's trying to hack into your site, it's going to get rid of that. And we don't have to worry about backups. Backups are done automatically on the new system as opposed to the old one. So it's going to be a much better experience for both you working on it and the user that's surfing the site. That being said, we had been talking and working on ways of migrating the data from the old site to the new template that we're working on. And again, this is it's a different platform. It's still WordPress, but we use Elementor. We make all our own templates, so we don't purchase templates. And the nice thing about making your own, you don't have to worry about anything else that's either baked into the template or anything that could be hidden or not updating properly. And when they release a new version of WordPress, you don't have to worry about the template breaking because it's not a template that you're buying, it's something that's custom made. So no more worries about things breaking with it. And we have like almost every plugin that you could possibly want. So all those plugins are available to all of our clients. So you guys would have access to any of those plugins, and we can turn them on and off. So if you download like one of the master plugins, you don't have to worry about having, 100 extra plugins put in there. So I forgot what.
That's fantastic.
So, and to quickly, like I wanted to, I'm going to log in a minute, but I wanted to show, for example, when we pull in the data from the posts, things get skewed. So there's going to be some touching up and work on the posts for the different volumes, I guess. Is that what you call them, Cersei? I'm sorry.
We have volume. Yes. The posts are associated with specific volumes.
Now tables won't be a problem, and everything will reformat correctly. So if you're on a cell phone or anything like that, you're not going to have to worry about formatting or reformatting things that way. So in that sense, that's going to be a lot easier. Moving forward, when you add more information into the site, you won't have to worry about formatting because the format will already be there. This only pertains to older posts and older pages that we're bringing in. But I think that if I had a little help, we could fly through all of these posts and without a problem. I might need some formatting assistance, Cersei, but like we had talked about that, you would have to tell me how you want things formatted. So we could just follow a standard, format for everything, or template.
What I thought might be helpful, Alex, is if you don't mind, if we could, we don't have to go through it perfectly, but one question in terms of this process. What about images? If I have images in my article, will they be transferred over, or do I need to reinsert them?
Yes, images will be transferred over. There was an example of that. I think, was it this one? Yeah, so this is an image. This is a graphic here. That does get transferred.
Okay.
I'm still working out PDFs. It looks like we're going to have to relink those. That's going to be one, effort that we're going to have to do. This is another image.
Will we be able to like just create PDFs from these posts that we're doing with Elementor, as opposed to, because right now we create them by pretending that we're going to print the article, and instead
then you attach it. I see
yeah,
what you're saying. Okay. That's where I was a little confused on. I believe there's a plugin that we have that can take a page and automatically convert it into a PDF. So we wouldn't even have to do that. If someone were to click on it, it will automatically take the two anchor points, which would be like, for example, right here, and then at the bottom, and it should be able to convert it. So we don't have the top information in there. And then they could have that as a download. So I'll have to look into that. Yeah, that's where I was, because with the PDF, I didn't know how the quality of the images would be. So that's why I thought that you had done those separately. So it will take the quality of the image and snapshot pretty much exactly as you see it here. So it should be no problem. But again, for something there was one in here with I don't know where we did it, but there was one with an actual picture, and the pictures come over fine. But those other graphics are considered pictures to me because they're JPEGs. So and PNGs, they both work the same.
So would we just if we could look at an example and then just sort of walk through really just quickly the highlights of what we need to do to get this, get the articles back on track, if you will, in terms of, so because from what we need to do is we need to initially migrate this site over. We're going to have it on your website. And before it can go live, we need to go through and fix all the articles, some of the formatting, because it's going to be a bit wonky.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if you could just show us really quickly what that would entail, because I know it's not a lot of work. It's just a matter of we're going to have to touch all of the articles for a short
Yeah,
period.
that's correct. So let's say we take this malaria one. One of the nice things that we have on here is the ability to duplicate a page or a post. So before you even work on the original, you can just make a copy of it. So that way, if you mess something up badly, then you don't have to worry. You just either delete it or you can undo it. I mean, there's many steps to undoing it, but if something becomes so tangled up, it's probably easier sometimes just to reduplicate the page and then move from there.
Okay.
So I'm looking at, we already made a draft of that one. So 9/2/9/21. So let's do this one. So the original, and the way I like to work, and we all, Juliana, this I was watching her, and that's how I learned it, because I used to go into the page. You just right click on the one that you want to see, open link in a new tab. So now you have the original open behind you, like the original site. And then from here, you can get a quick idea and you're like, yep, okay, this looks like it's already been somewhat formatted. And you can say, well, I do still want to touch it up. But then you go down to here in the template, and then you see that it's under default template. It has not been converted. So we're going to leave this alone, close it. And then we're going to use EA Duplicator to duplicate this page. So now we have a copy of it. Where was it? Sorry, I should have remembered the name of the page. What was the page? Do you guys remember?
Go back up. It's right above the, it was the name of it was, I think it was Purdue and Pharma and Oxycontin.
Purdue and Pharma. Okay. Well, let me do this. So we'll start over. Yep, this one has not been. So EA Duplicator, Purdue Pharma, Oxycontin.
Because this is the, when you click on it, it takes you to the original sort of back end of the site.
Yeah, because we're copying all that over. So on the new site, all this stuff is going to be copied over. And that's what we're working on right now, is the new site, not the original.
Oh, yeah, no, what I'm saying is when you go into it, like if you click on that link right now.
Yes, it brings up this page.
That's not Elementor. This is something called Blocks, right?
This is WordPress. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's just straight up WordPress. So now I have my draft here, and then I click on click on the link like you would, and then down here in the bottom template, I'm going to make step-by-step directions so you guys won't have to worry about this, but you click on Elementor Canvas, because now you're going to convert this into full width, which means that this will auto adjust with everything. Then like cell phone, tablet, that's what I mean. You hit publish. Now it's converted it. And then we click on edit with Elementor on the top. And then from here, you're going to see that you're going to have this new interface, but it makes things so much easier to work with. So one of the things that we want to do is, for formatting purposes for Google search, you want to break things up. So we can see in here that the original document that this was done with made this one big giant table, and inside had all the links. This should really be broken down into 3 sections. The first section should be the title, because that's what Google searches for. So you want a heading for it. And then in here, that would be, what was it, the title? I don't know why it's not showing up.
If you go down, if you look right here, it's right here. It says, if you go back up, it's Purdue, and it's about pharma. If you go all the way to the top there, you see where it says Chow R, and then this is the title.
Am I missing it? Is that, okay, correspondence? Chow R pharma, there it is. Chow. Okay. So so then we're gonna make that, again, we have to change formatting, like, I can't say that enough. But once I'm told what you want the formatting to be, then it will be easy to do that. So for now, I'm just gonna leave this like this, even though it's incorrect.
So we
But
need to give you a
my
brand
point is to
guide.
show, I'm sorry?
We need to give you a, like a branding guide then?
Yes, please, yep. So, and then we have our heading, and then we have the information below. This all here is okay, but see how we have these two separate sections? Coding wise, that's what Google wants to see. They want to see titles, content, and then anything else below that, which leads us to the bottom of the article, which has the references. This should be a separate section. So again, we'd come down here into text editor, drag and drop something into here, and then we would just copy all of this into it. So sometimes the formatting comes out looking decent, and then you saw sometimes it doesn't. One of the pages that I was showing to you as a sample was one that got converted somehow, like it went on the skew. And that's because the formatting was not set for the whole site. Moving forward, the formatting will all be done through Elementor, so that whenever you create a new page, you're going to automatically have formatting set in place, and so on and so forth. So now we have our header, we have our center section, which is the text. Google looks at this, and then we have the bottom, not a footer, but just the bottom, which is references. So this would stand out that Google understands that this is a unique section of references that pertains to the page, instead of having one jumbled mix of content all on one page. Now it's cleaned up and broken up properly. I would even add, you'll see, like as we move forward, I would have these references set up as their own title. So like each section is uniquely separated from the information that it would represent. So references would be a section. All of this would be one section that falls below the title.
Okay,
Is that
so,
making sense to everyone?
so it would be, so in terms of like the references section, would it just be its own, like own header on its own, or, and then the text underneath it?
Yeah, I would make references, especially for a site like yours. It would just make, oops, did I? Yeah, undo. So one of the cool features of this here, obviously I did something where I either moved it, deleted it, or did something. So if I go down to history, I can undo that just by clicking on the next one, and there it shows up. If I keep going down this, it keeps undoing things that I did. That's one of the best features of working with Elementor. If I were to save this and then go back, I can look at revisions, and then I can see what major revisions were made and go back and change things to what the previous was. So you can see now it's undone all the changes that I made. Now I'm going to go back and redo them. On the right one, 3976. And then apply. So now it shows all my changes. So you really can't make a mistake. You can't really mess things up. You never have to worry about, oh, what did I do? You can always go back and look at your revisions if you already saved it. If you are in a non-save mode, you can look at your actions and just your history and undo things as you remember or don't remember. And then worst comes to worst, we can always run a backup from the previous day. So there's really never a reason to ever worry about messing things up or deleting something or doing something that was so, wrong. And it just gives you a lot more comfort in going in there and even experimenting, like I said. So if you go back to the WordPress section, and I still am working in a copy, so I haven't even modified the original, which is nice. So if I go back to here, Purdue, and you'll see that there's going to be the original and then the draft. We were working in the draft. Once we get to the point that we're comfortable, then we can delete the original or make another copy of it, but still delete the original. And then now we would go into quick edit and then just make this now the original. So now it's live, it's working, and we move on to the next page. So I'll make very detailed step-by-step on how all of this is going to work. So it won't have to be a worry. And I have no problem doing some with everyone. Like once I make the directions, or I should say Juliana, she does a great job with that. Then we could even have a class where we can work on it together, and then everyone can see along with the directions that we have, and you should have no problem.
So this is great. This is great. So I know that the other issue is we currently are hosted, this is just a review for other folks. We're currently hosted, the site that you go to see when you go to harvardpublichealthreview.org, that is hosted by a Canadian company called Media Temple. And one of the great things and one of the stumbling blocks with it is that when you use like editorial at harvardpublichealthreview.org or submissions at harvardpublichealthreview.org, those are called forwarders. They are not email boxes that exist. So if you write to submissions at harvardpublichealthreview.org, it goes to some people on the board. Like it goes to me, and it goes to like Candace and Ron and Alex and Jessica, and then so that now enables us to reply, right? Well, Alex has to figure out, once we move the site, we move a copy of the site to his server, it's going to go a lot faster, but we need to figure out that forwarder piece. And Alex referenced that earlier, but that might not have been so clear. And also, if anyone's watching this later, I wanted to clarify that. Do we have a timeline for this, Alex?
So I'm ready to go live this weekend.
Oh,
I don't
fabulous.
like making changes during the week, only because like last night, I don't know if you saw the email with the please prep me.global. I had problems and I ended up staying up a lot later trying to fix those problems that I had. So that's why, like, if I do it on a Friday night, then I'm not too concerned. Now with you guys, I know that it's probably, I don't know what your traffic is. Maybe you're busier on the weekend when more people are not working and they have more time to look at this stuff. But typically I just, for sanity reasons, it's just better to do things on a Friday night. And then I have like Saturday and Sunday where I can work on undoing any problems or fixing any issues that come up.
No, I not to speak on behalf of everyone, but I think Friday night's fine.
Yeah.
We're in the process of receiving a lot of articles, and we're still in the process of laying things out. So no, we're not having a lot of traffic in terms of folks reading the articles right at the moment. We will once we go in the next week or two. So this is great. And once we move the site as it currently is to its new home, what are the next steps in terms of revamping the look and feel?
So that comes down to, I need some more information as to the font that you want. I would still keep the font simple. Don't get too fancy with the fonts. And a kind of like an overview. I know I was given a lot of direction for the front page, but we just don't have content for that yet. So temporarily, what could we put up for the front page? The rest of the site is going to flow similar to, I think, what we made here. Again, this search, don't pay much attention to the formatting, but kind of this simplicity here, we just testing search to make sure that if you search something, like for example, Purdue, that it comes up in the search, that the search parameters are matching the content. So that's what we're testing on here. But it's not going to look like this. The search button will be to the right or much cleaner look. But as it is, we would have the home, about, submissions, call reviewers, and editors, and volumes. If there's anything else that needs to be added to the menus or the main menu, then it would be good to know. Our graphic designer is working on a new look and feel for the top part, something simpler, less red, more of a calmer, I guess, from what I was told. I'm just going with what I was told. Something a little more calm and a little more easier on the reading, so it doesn't stand out as much when you go to the page. But still, we want the Harvard Public Health Review logo to be prominent.
Okay. So I guess in terms of when you say the home page and you don't have content, what do you need from us?
So one of the things that I would like to do on the homepage is, I'm a big fan of having like something that doesn't destroy your vision when you go there. When you have too much going on, as much as I like some of the other sites, like I know that the NEJM was brought up a lot. My wife, like she loves NEJM, but she rarely goes to the website because it's so busy. She gets the magazines, and that's how I felt too. It's like there's so much going on when you land on it that you really don't know where to begin or where to end. You get blasted with something at the top. You have, some picture here which is attention getting, but at the same time you have so many different colors and other things that are just kind of screaming out, and this endless scrolling, which I really dislike. And from a user interface, a UI interface, if you will, it's just too much, way too much. I would have a much simpler approach for you guys, because you have your volumes out. I would start with, what is your latest volume? I know this is not up to date, so let's go over here on your live one, and then maybe have something for the latest volume rotate through.
It would
that
probably be
has-
like volume 26.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you could tell me something that would be attention getting. So right now, obviously, everything's going to be COVID. So we would most likely have something about COVID on one of the rotating images. They click through it and it takes them to the article, and then they can go back home and see something else. So that was one idea that I had. Maybe have 3 of the latest, articles listed on the front page as one graphic, or 2. The next graphic can be for, I see you guys are looking for editors. So we could have a graphic for that says, interested in editing, sign up here, or click here to learn more. And then takes them to the page, how they can, what do you need to sign up, etc. And the third graphic could be, whatever you guys see fit for adding as a third graphic, rotating image. I wouldn't do any more than 3. And I think that would be a good start. And then below that, we could have another section that would outline the latest volume, I guess you would have, which would be a set of the articles. So, sorry, this is just going a little slow for me. So if we did volume 26 or 27, and then we could have these listed out as one section, and then to the right have a graphic of something I don't know. And that would be enough for the front page for now. And then as we decide, or you decide what other parts you'd like to build out more on, if you have a video or anything like that, we
Mm.
can constantly change and modify the front page.
Well, we have some video to use because we want this to have a blog capacity,
Mhm.
and we have some of that content already.
Good.
And yeah, I mean, we really want to get away from like having the bar at the top, you know, that red
Yes.
bar. You know, it's just maybe having something more liquid or like an asymmetrical, have that opening image be like asymmetrical looking or something that just kind of brings the eye in and it's not quite so jarring.
Yeah. 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 We're going to move the logo either to the top left or to the left. Generally, like the way in most parts of the world, the way the human eye starts is at the top left and goes to the bottom right.
Mhm.
And that's why a lot of websites are made the way they are, because that's just typically how we see. And I say most parts of the world because there are parts of the world where they read right to left. So that would be kind of another way of looking at it. But I think your target audience is more of United States, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's
So, and then, so that would be what I'd be looking at. And the red, yes, tone it down or make something else. Like I just told the graphic designer, we want to move away from the red and add the red to some part of the logo. So the logo will be red, but the background will be more white and plain. And one of the things that I envisioned for the site was something similar like what we had done with this client, where because they have a lot of red in their logo, white background, we put some red into their logo. But as you click on the different pages, you have some graphic up at the top. We can do something similar to that. Scroll down through your information. I'm still working on a whole bunch of ideas, but the big issue at hand was cleaning up some of the issues I found in the existing site and being able to update it so that it was on a current version of WordPress and PHP, which is like always my thing. Security is just like, I'm probably the most paranoid IT person you'll meet. In life, I'm not paranoid, but when it comes to IT, I'm very paranoid.
yeah.
So we cleaned up a lot of the back end stuff and we know how to. So all I have to do is bring in the current version that you have into the test site and for this weekend, and then your existing site's going to work fine. Like you shouldn't have any issues with it after that. The site that we're working on, it's a matter of converting the posts. There's still so much work to do on those. And the header, you'll see, like, I'll walk really quickly through this. So if I go into my appearance, no, not themes, sorry, templates and all, you'll see the header that we have here. You're gonna get a feeling for how easy it is to change things around. So right now we got this red background, right? If I want to change that, it's very simple to just move that just like that. I can add a picture to the background. If I want to make it a softer, whatever one that I want, it doesn't matter how we do it. I can undo changes. The logo itself, we can minimize it, make it smaller. I can move it left, right. So if I go into, where is it? Sorry, I'm not as familiar with this as Juliana. So here we go. So now I can move that, and then I can take this box if I want and shift it wherever I want. So if I break this up into, add a new column, take my search box, put it in here. And then, I mean, it's just working with this program is just so much easier and pleasurable than working with WordPress alone, or even working with the template, because not all the templates are modified the same way. So that's what makes working with this so much easier and nicer. And so now you can get an idea like, oh yeah, okay, so I might like that. So for now, I'm just going to keep this like this while we're continuing working, but you get an idea for how easy it is to change and switch things around because you have 100% control over the whole site. It's not like you're conforming to one template, or you have to go buy another template that may do other features. And it just keeps things so much simpler. And when you look at the plugins, your plugins are going to be way simpler because everything you want is going to be built into Elementor or the essential add-ons for Elementor, which is a plugin that we own the full rights to that we can put in here. Header for the code manager is a clean way of keeping track of Google Analytics, snippets, any other calling that we do or you need for the site. This keeps things very clean. It's all about keeping the code clean. So when Google crawls a site, there's no confusion as to what the header is doing, what this is doing, what the footer is doing, what the body's doing, JavaScript snippets. Okay, we know that's in this section. So everything is very neat, very nice, and coded like to perfection. And that's why we use these set of plugins specifically. And Loganizer is, I'm sorry.
Could you just explain to folks really quickly what a plugin is?
So with WordPress, WordPress is what you call a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So as you start filling out information and you hit apply, it becomes exactly what you see. Now, WordPress is great because you can put in text, you can put in pictures. But let's say you wanted something that could add graphs and charts. WordPress doesn't have that ability. You could hard code it, but that would take you a lot of time. You'd have to research that. Or you can get a plugin, like for example, this, what is it? The essential add-ons. And in this, one of the cool things is this has like dozens of add-ons. So things like these little charts that you see here has that. You see when I'm scrolling how things get bigger and smaller, kind of like zoom in. Mm-hmm. That is part of this plugin. And there are like, I mean, it goes on. There's like so many. These are all the options that you would have. Now, you wouldn't want to load all of them because it would slow down your site somewhat. So you would find the ones that you want, like form styling, for example. Let's say you want to have like a nice looking form that gathers the information. This is a nice way of capturing the form. Clearly, it looks nice. You get a little background here. So this is one option that you could get. I mean, you could spend so much time just looking at this, but going back to where was it we were talking about? I know this has one for charts and graphs.
So a plugin is essentially like it's like a mini application that's integrated into the WordPress solution.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. That's better.
And so, then if we scroll up just real quick, if you go back up to the top, this is the type of sort of asymmetrical sort of header that we were thinking of. Maybe not this weird concave thing, but yeah. So no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. So no, that's we can do anything that you want. And that's the nice thing about having total control over your site. So something like this for us to code would take us a couple hours to do. You get this plugin, you just turn it on, fill in your information. Now in about 35 minutes, 45 minutes, however long it takes you to copy and paste, you get this beautiful looking format that you can see will adjust, whether it's a cell phone or whatever you make it be. So that's what these plugins do. There's a plugin for everything that you'd want. The one thing we have to be sure is that it is compatible with Elementor. You want to get a plugin that's fully tested with WordPress. There are a lot of quote unquote free plugins. The problems with the free plugins is you don't know what extra code is in there. And if it's not a plugin that's extremely popular, that people can tell you what's going on with it, then you're pretty much at the mercy of, is this plugin going to work? How often does the developer update it? If they're working for free, they're probably not updating it that much. That's why we did a lot of research and purchased certain plugins that work seamlessly with Elementor. So how do you access this plugin? If we open up, oops, sorry, I'm clicking too fast. Let's say we're in a page here and I go into Edit with Elementor, and then you'll see down here, there are items that are with the EA. So that's how you would find it. So you can either search for it or you can find anything with the EA, and these would be all the other plugins. So it makes it very easy for you to use. You're not opening up another window and then trying to figure out how you paste code into here. So it just works seamlessly with Elementor. And all the plugins we have work like that as well. So you're not having to worry about making it in one window, copying the code, and then somehow trying to find a way to paste that code into here. So it wouldn't work like that. But there's thousands and thousands of videos on Elementor, how to do anything. If you go to YouTube and you say Elementor, how to make a contact page, there's like hundreds of videos for that. Same thing for how to make a rotating banner. You would do Elementor rotating banner, and then there'd be hundreds of videos on that. So there's plenty of information on how to do anything you want with Elementor. It's the best that we've seen. That's why we use it. And we built a couple hundred websites now based on Elementor, and it's been great. Anybody have any questions?
I guess my question would be in terms of just timing. So this weekend, you're going to make a copy of our site. Will it go live, or
Yes.
it probably
So the hope is going to be that on Saturday, your existing website that you have right now, this site, is going to be on my server, and no one's going to know any difference other than the website is going to work way faster. And the issues with logging in and some of the other bugs will be, when I say bugs, the malware that was in there will all be have cleaned out, and any of that residual code that calls back to wherever it's pulling it in from will be gone.
Okay. So in terms of the forwarders, will they be working? Will folks be able to
Yes.
write to editorial? Great. And
Yes.
and then I know that the process of recreating this as an Elementor website, where we can start recreating the homepage and everything, the look and feel of the whole site, that will start. We have to make a copy of it, and then you need like just a team of folks to go through each of the pages and reformat them the way you showed us. Will we be able to update the homepage at the same time?
Yes. So you can see we already pulled in all the data here. You have 134 posts that we've pulled in. One of the things that I would like to do is I'm going to start sending you an outline, but for categories, we need to start using categories. Right now, you're using a lot of tags, which is great, but categories are going to be great for keeping track of the volumes. And I think that's going to help out a lot in, so let's say we have volume, let's just go here, volume 24. So this would be one category, volume 24. And inside that category, you would have all these different posts that are part of that category. Am I correct? And that's how it works?
Yeah, so the categories are meaningless on the site right now. The
Yes,
volumes are
on the new site.
the category. I mean, they're the site as it is stands right at the moment, like they're nothing. So and the volumes is like a customized thing that was created where we associated the posts with certain volumes.
So
But it would be nice if it just was like a category as opposed to a volume, like
yes,
a customized thing.
because
Yeah.
I don't want to customize the code, because the fear of that is that if there's a problem, or you say to me one day, Alex, I don't want to work with you anymore, you're not stuck in the same situation that you are now, where that code would have to be updated to work properly. I'd rather be some sort of plugin that will make everyone's life easier, so that if you decide to move on in the future, you don't have to worry about being committed to me. You can just say, hey, we know that this is Elementor. We know that this is a plugin that controls the categories called, volumes, and that's it. So we'll make things a lot easier for you.
That's wonderful.
So that's why I'm going to start categorizing all the posts. So each volume will be a category, and then each post will be assigned to that category.
And yeah, because right now that's a hard coded thing for where it says volumes in the menu.
Yes.
And very hard to read and stuff. So it's just
yeah, it's going to be a completely different system.
okay.
And it's going to be much easier to manage and a lot easier to track. So for example, if you want to go in there and let's say you did volume 20, volume 16, right?
Mhm.
Nothing comes up here. I would love to see just everything that's under volume 16 show up. So I don't know how accurate a lot of this stuff is or not. So that's why I would like to, take a look at how things are coded.
Yeah.
But if you tell me that categories can be the volumes, each volume will be a category, and each post will be assigned to that, so that I could click on this drop down here and say volume 16. Now I know that everything that's going to show up there is going to be under volume 16.
That's wonderful.
So there's a lot of that. And then the tags, those can stay. You can still use those for your own search purposes. But, in terms of categorizing, that's the way it should be. It should be like logical, easy to look up, easy to format, easy to retrieve. And the menu that will be controlling that is going to be a lot easier to view and change and modify.
So that's wonderful. Does anyone have any questions about this process, or have any ideas or thoughts about how this should look and the like?
Yeah. Yes, I have a question here. For example, are we going to have video content at the at the face page, and how it would look like? Because I think that's one of the great way of engaging the any visitor, also keeping them on the website for a longer duration, because generally people don't read article. If it is a longer article, they prefer to go and read it, right? Since this is more of an academic looking website in terms of research, most of the research websites are fairly like full of content in terms of written content, less of a visual content. We can really make this site very well attractive for any visitor if you have a video content. So if we are going to put video content, where it is going to be placed, because right now there is a columnar card approach. There's a card like view at the bottom, and the top the featured article. I'm guessing they are featured article because the font size is bigger, right? And eventually, obviously, they're going to get better visibility and more readership comparing other articles, because just the way they are presented on the website, right?
Yeah.
So is there some thought to it that those particular article needs more visibility, or just by default because of the design? Yeah.
So, I mean, the videos we can do, and we can make them any way you want, not a problem. But if you put a 10-minute video on the site, you're going to lose the person right away on the main page. You want to limit your videos to a minute or less. You don't, and that's on any part of the site, unless it's a video specific to, let's say, one of the volumes. If you had a volume that talks about COVID and there's a 30-minute TED talk on it, then that's fine.
Mhm.
But you have to be careful with how you put videos on the site, because it takes time for it to load. Not everyone's going to have a super fast connection. A lot of people, they like to look at this while they're on the train or bus. Their connections may be slower, hindered. So you don't want to give a poor experience either. So I would limit the video, if you put one on the front page, to something that's not going to be very long. I would be more graphically engaging. So like if you look at Science Magazine's website, I just love how they have these awesome graphics. They're very eye-catching, and everything. This is like, it's a story. I want to know more about this. You get pulled into it. I like how they broke a lot of this up. So there's a lot of information, but you're also not overwhelmed like you are with Nijam. Nijam seems like there's just stuff going on all over the place, and
Yeah.
it's hard for you to find a place to focus. So think of your landing page as a intro, like a grabber to a story that you want to tell them.
Well, I think like it might be nice to have because that's like those look like up at the top in particular, looks like kind of an old-fashioned, almost old-fashioned slider. It would be nice if like on the home page we did have, you know, if not a GIF, then like sometimes they allow you to put video content in some of the sliders, because I've
Oh
done
yeah, I
that
mean the
before,
sliders.
and it just kind of cycles over and over like a snippet of it, and then that could grab
Yeah.
someone to watch it. Do you think is that kind of what you were thinking about?
I was thinking of putting something with sliders that are full screen, not this inbox, because this is
Yeah.
old fashioned. I don't like this box in a box. But going back to like what we did here, everything is what we call full width. So here's this animation that we came up with for them. And they had some pretty wild ideas that were like, listen, you want people to be kind of engaged and intrigued, like what's going on. This is a focus to a very specific community of researchers for the science that they provide. And it's very simple. Like you can see that this page doesn't tell you too much, but is interesting. And then you understand, like for cell cultures. So like we kind of tested this out, and there was another page that we used. And a lot of people, we saw that they couldn't wait to click through this to get more information, where the other one told a little too much, and then they left the site. So they came into the site and then they left it because they either felt that it wasn't what they were looking for, or they were just not interested enough to go through. So that's why simplicity works a lot for a landing page.
So I was thinking when Cameron was saying about the video, I think like just even like saying like this was just introducing the video, maybe it wouldn't like play there, but people would be able to click on it and go see it. And then perhaps like let's say you're showing this image now of the analytics automation better biology. This is very nice, but if it was like an interview, for instance, perhaps we would have like just a snippet of the interview as a video, and then it would play when you came and visited it. And
So
there
if
would be
you
no
do
sound or
something,
anything. It would just be like the image,
yeah,
and then people could click on that slider and it would take them to a page that had like the TED Talk.
oh yeah, that would be great. If you're putting a video on there that you're waiting for some, like for example, if you had a video that started and the person is on their cell phone. Some phones, like Apple iPhone specifically, do not automatically play videos. You have to choose to play the video, or it doesn't even show it at all. We've had issues with that. So you have to think of multi-platform when it comes
Okay.
to this also. And how do you want to show images and videos for slower devices? So not everybody has the latest and greatest phones that can play video, high def video quickly. So YouTube, we wouldn't have that issue. We can scale within YouTube to show. There's a lot we can do.
Okay.
But you know, think you have. What am I trying to say? Let me back up. Think of your audience and how they're going to view the video. If it's a video that's going to be small to begin with, and then you're making it smaller by putting it on a phone, then it becomes ridiculous. They don't know what they're looking at. It's too small. So if you have like a facial person, like something up close, that would work out great. Then you can say, yes, we can load that, because on a 5-inch iPhone, it's going to look fine. The person's going to see what they're looking at. So you have to think of multi-platform, multi-device, small, medium, and large. Not everyone's going to be viewing this on a 27-inch screen. Not everyone's going to be viewing it on a 5-inch screen. So you got to find that sweet spot of displaying information that's going to be available to the entire audience, so you don't lose people.
So, Cameron,
Sure.
go ahead. I was just, I
Sure.
wanted to see what you thought.
Sure. So thank you. I just wanted to mention, I completely agree. This is also going to make the website heavy. Can we, is there a possibility, just like in this website, it's an amazing website. It has this tab, home, about, product, application, resources, a separate tab for video, for example, while video, if not on the front page. So when we kind of create video guidelines, so we can ask whoever has submitted the video, to have a edited 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 15 second, whatever the right duration of the video, that become a bit of an intro video that would remain for the first page, which directly connects the audience or a visitor to the video tab, right? If they can, click it, right? So it can have a link to the
we can
front
even put
page.
videos into the drop down. So if you want like an exotic drop down, when they roll over it, we can have a 5-second clip play right within the drop down. So there's a lot we can do. What you have to go back to is say, how much information do we have to display? So if you have only like 2 videos, then it becomes kind of problematic if someone's expecting to see a lot. So we can do anything that you want. We can integrate slides where it's partial video and partial text and partial graphic, and it looks kind of like seamless, so that you can't even tell if the video is part of the graphic or the graphic is part of the video. There's all kinds of things that we can do. It's just a matter of like you telling me what you want and we put it down. I'm just throwing out ideas and some suggestions in terms of like keeping things, even if it's a video, a little more simpler. You don't want too much going on that you turn off the person that's coming in. But yeah, I mean, in terms of videos, like, we can take high definition videos and we can have them load like really quickly. I mean, I've been doing video for online for over 23 years, 24 years. So I can change speeds, like have this is actually hosted on my server, not on YouTube, because a big part of this audience is in China and they do not allow YouTube in China. So we have to streamline these videos, and they have like a whole bunch of them so that they load very quickly and do not tax my server to slow down their website or any of the sites that we're hosting on that particular server. So I didn't even have to get in with Cloudflare on this. It just loads instantly. So like this video, I think is only 5 megabytes, and it's a 1080p high def video. So yes, the answer to your questions, we can do anything that you'd want. We just need some reference.
Yeah.
Or right now, what I was given was right here. So if you want a video tab, we can do that.
Yeah.
If you want to have a section on the main page, that would be, you know, something that, like, let's say we had this part as the rotating banner, and then you had something like this below where you had a video. I'll show you really quickly. Site title, and then text. But if we had a, let's see if we did one. For some reason I can't modify that, but you get an idea here. You can have a video playing with some context to the left.
Yeah.
And you can change that. You can make it smaller, bigger, however you want. We can even put several videos rotating, so you can choose to watch one, the next one, the next one, all in there. So there's, the possibilities are endless for what we can do. You just have to come up with a
Yeah.
template, like, or say, this is what we want on the front page, this is what we want on this page, so on and so forth. But you can see how easy it is for you to even go in there and start playing with it yourselves. We can even make a test site for you where we can duplicate the whole site, and you can go crazy. I can make one for each one of the people that are part of the health site. So you guys can all go in there and play with your own sites and see what you come up with. You know, that's the beauty of working with Elementor. You're not, once we create it, you're not limited by anything. You can go in there and tear it apart for however way you want.
Is there a possibility a clone site can be given? I would like to, if that's okay, Cersei.
Oh, yes.
To modify and suggest something, right?
Oh, that would
That's
be
what I was saying. Like,
fabulous.
once we come up with the basics of the site, like I know what the font's going to be, et cetera, et cetera. Once we build out the various sections, you can go in there and you can modify anything you want.
Great.
So that wouldn't be a problem. And I encourage that. I mean, Cersei knows through other projects that we've worked on, never once have I ever said to her or any people in the organizations that we work with, you cannot do this. You cannot do that. Oh, that can't be done. I just don't believe in no. There's ways to do everything. And I encourage you to go in there and play with it, because guess what? You never have to worry about making a mistake. Everything can be undone. And we have, you know, state-of-the-art backup. Cersei will attest to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so you don't have to worry about that.
There may have been some panicked calls in other contexts when a website went down. So,
So yes, this is brilliant. Just because sometimes it's very hard to find a reference website to what one is trying to think. The only way is to play around and just see exactly how things fit in and suggest. You know, and people can give the feedback, and you know, this is how it is. So do we have the video content with Public Health Review?
We do have some video content. It's on our YouTube channel, and and by the way, like I told everyone, we're like I'm recording this. I'm going to put that on our YouTube channel as well. All kinds of our training videos. For all the different platforms, and we have created some videos for the journal, and we can use those. We're asking authors to make like 1 minute, you know, comments, you know, that in a video format. So we have some video content, and we're gathering more all the time. And if you would like to create video content for the journal, you are more than welcome to do that. And I encourage it. So please.
Great, thank you. Sure, I'm very much interested in bringing authors and writers on a visual feel, on the video-based field, right? Also, I want to know, I mean, what about podcast? Do you think, it's just a suggestion, should we add a tab for the podcast separately? Because a lot of people, can listen to podcasts on the way to their office or school or, wherever. And it becomes the fastest way of it, because the idea is that people do not have as long of an attention span as it used to be, and people just go for more information in lesser amount of time. And videos and podcasts are one of the best ways.
Yes.
Right? Because not everybody would have the same reading speed, or perhaps the attention span for that matter, right? And they can engage with the same content or the similar content on a much faster pace, and can understand it, because the idea for the since it's a Harvard Public Health Review, and the idea of having a review is it's having a more flexibility than a traditional journal board, right? Where information can be consolidated and in a review style, and people can gather pieces of information on the go or on a faster pace. Yeah.
Yes, no, I agree completely. And so, having video content, to engage folks, have it be associated with the academic articles, as well as, more blog, sort of posts, and certainly creating podcasts of each of the articles and other, like maybe interviews with folks. We could turn the videos also into MP3s for podcasting as well. We can host them on the website. I'm sure there are maybe there's alternative ways of doing it, but sort of making our website like a hub for all this content. You know what I mean? So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was thinking, when we receive submissions for article, we can always ask the author if they would also like their article to be, once the article is reviewed by the journal, if they would like this to be in the podcast, right? And they can create a podcast because podcasts are easier to create of their write-up or their article, and which can also be published on the website, right? Which becomes a lot easier. And most of these authors, since they want to be published, they would also want to be heard about what they're writing about, right?
Yeah.
And it gives them more. It also gives a bit of an informal touch to the website, and hence the audience.
Yeah. It sort of bring in a different range of folks, and just making like what you said, making our content as accessible as possible.
No, it's gonna be great. You just have to set the guidelines of what is the podcast, and then who's going to be checking it, because you don't want someone starting off on a paper and then next thing you know they're going on about how much they love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump. So I would say, I'm not trying to get political, but my point is you don't want you want to make sure there's some checks in place, because we've had issues where for example, one of the sites that we manage is an entertainment company, and they do like performers. They set up performers with weddings, Microsoft outings, you name it. And one of the videos that was submitted without being checked was a little too risque, let's say, for that site. So you would definitely want to have some kind of checks and balances, that someone's in charge of making sure that the audio that's going to be put on there has been checked from start to finish. And I would never link to sites outside of what you have control over. So you don't want someone sending you a link to their personal Soundwave archive, because then you never really have a way of knowing, is that going to change? Is it not? So you would have them submit it, and then you would add that to your own podcast section where it cannot be changed.
Yeah, I think this is brilliant. Yes, we are going to create a sort of a guideline, and
Yeah.
there will be a review process before we make it public. And we're probably going to try it like sort of a trial internally about the podcasting before anything goes public, right? Thorough review. And we in that podcast we would also ideally, if this channel allows, to have a question and comment section people can send, and the author can answer later in writing, which we can review and just give permission for submission, something like that, right? Because no journal is doing it as much. Most of the research journals are completely text-based. They mostly have just a GIF or picture or two, or perhaps a small video only. They haven't gone at length because sooner it is going to change very fast, because most of these platforms, especially mobile phones, the health is becoming a permanent feature in most of these smartphones, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And this is going to have impact on the viewership or visitor traffic, basically,
Yeah.
because most of these technology platforms would have to share education content on health, and they probably would be referring to journals. That's where also our partnership would come handy later, perhaps, right? Just like Apple Fitness, this is a platform for Apple Watch user or Apple users. Anyone who has a health-seeking behavior, they're likely to read the content. This may be the audience, general audience beyond the academic circles. They are interested in knowing scientific understanding about any healthcare issue. They would want to view it. So ultimately, the traffic is going to be going like that, because healthcare content viewership is going to increase, especially this pandemic has been a watershed moment for that matter, right? Also, Cersei, I wanted to ask this question that the target audience or the primary audience for this journal is US, because once the website is there, generally people from all over the world visit that. I don't know if we have a traffic, view or the dashboard or database where we can see like which countries most of these visitors are from. For example, even if it is US based visitors, because Harvard has a global appeal, right? And it's the brand has a global presence. The Harvard itself has a anything coming out of this institution on the website immediately becomes global. And if you're asking for for if you're open for articles, so it means that articles are coming from all over the places, right?
Yeah.
And that makes it a truly global journal, and of course with predominant number of submission perhaps from US, but it is open for the audience. So are we going to have a generalist approach here, or are we going to be specific to taste of the US based audience?
Oh, you were talking about when Alex was
The
talking
layout,
about like left to going down to the right?
overall layout I'm talking about.
That was, oh yeah. In terms of audience, I mean, obviously it's international. It's an international audience, and I would say probably a lot of our traffic's in the US, but we have a lot of international visitors. And we just did an advertising push on Facebook that was very much, had an international focus. And I think, I don't know if you were referring earlier in terms of our focus being primarily the US, and that was just because of the way the menu is situated is on the left on the website, and the eye is supposed to be drawn down, going down and to the right, as opposed to having the menu on the right hand side and drawing the eye down to the left. That was all that was referring to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, but the site obviously is going to work anywhere in the world. You're not limited It's just you have a target audience. If your target audience is going to be in, let's say, China, then you're going to want to maybe obviously have it in one of the dialects that they use over there, and may even have a different site that automatically loads for the .china domain. So yes, the site will work and load without any problem anywhere in the world. But before you start thinking of international, you should really focus on one audience first. And then through Google Analytics, you can determine where the next group of audience is going to be. And you're going to find that you may change the website a couple times, because if you see that there's a lot of traffic going through a part of the site that you didn't think people were interested in, you're going to want to make that part of the site a lot more easily accessible to that audience. So things are going to change. Whatever you're working on now may not be the end all be all. So I don't know if you have Google Analytics on the site now or not, but moving forward, we're definitely going to have it, and we're going to want to measure where people are going.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that it has it on there, or if it does, it's not working the way we want it to, because it's just the site's kind of limited in its architecture right at the moment. But yeah, no, I mean, we don't, in terms of, we want to, we try to make it as appealing and to our international audience as much as possible for the moment, and we can do more targeted approaches to the site as it appears elsewhere. But yeah, I'm mindful of not having the site be, American centric in any kind of tenured way. But yeah, we have opted to have the menu on the left. Just
Well, you tell me what your parameters are, Cersei, and we'll make it happen.
we could talk about that too, Cameron. If that makes I just want to make sure that
Sure.
we honor our audience and everything.
Sure.
So, does anyone else have any other questions for Alex? I'm mindful that you've been so kind with your time. Oh my gosh.
No, I know. My wife is an ER physician, and she works, as you know, Cersei, ridiculous hours. So this week she's been kind of working a lot of hours. So tonight I was taxed with dinner, and I have to put the kids to sleep.
Oh,
she's working right now.
Yeah. So I can't thank you enough for walking through this and for helping us out with this. I look forward to Friday. That's going to be amazing for our audiences.
It's going to be so much faster. Yeah. Just that you're going to be so much happier with that.
Yeah. And then when will we be able to go in and start the other process?
I just need some more information from you. I'm going to send you an outline tonight.
Okay.
And I started working on it. I should say I started. I had Juliana start working on it for what we need. And then I'm going to send that off to you so that you can start answering the questions, and then we can get a better idea. And then as far as the logo goes, I'm hoping to have something by maybe Friday or over the weekend to show you.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much. Yeah. We're just very excited. Thank you so much. And
us as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I told my wife, I said, because now I have 3 Harvard projects I'm working on. Because my wife is a Harvard assistant professor, and she does research for the Harvard School of Public Health.
Yeah.
So I'm building them a server, which is going to be nice. This is the second server I'm building for that group. So it's going to be pretty exciting. And then the 2 sites that I'm working on with you. So
okay, well, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you all. And again, if anyone has any questions, you can get my information from Cersei, and I'm more than happy to discuss.
Okay, great.
Alex and Cersei, could I just ask a 10-second question real quick?
Sure.
Should we plan on doing that kind of clone versions of the website where we each kind of have our own to play with? or is that something that's probably not going to be pursued?
That we are going to do that. Do you want them? Do you want a clone version of? Are we talking about the new site or the existing site?
I thought we were talking about the new site kind of for,
Yes, the new site definitely. Yep.
Okay.
But we have to build it out first, so it's not fully built out yet for you to go in there and start playing around, I guess. If you
Sure.
guys want a sandbox for what we have right now, I don't mind putting out a few of those. So if that's what you're looking to do, then that's fine. But without having the site built out, you're going to find that it's going to be really difficult. And then I would hate to tell you that I couldn't do something because the templates weren't correct. But once we're done with the site and the templates, we can make, 20 clones, 30 clones, I don't care. And then each one of you can go in and you can go crazy. You can do whatever you want. And then I can show you how to copy from the clone site into the live site if you want to do that too. It's actually very simple to do that.
yeah, that sounds awesome. I don't mind waiting. I just wanted to make sure that was something that was happening versus just talked about.
No,
Oh,
it's
yes.
gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All righty. Thank you.
Yeah, this is, I want this to be something that everybody has a hand in doing as much or as little as they want with creating. And also I realized the last time I was talking about this website process that without seeing stuff and going through the full process, it meant kind of nothing to folks. So,
Yeah, it's been slow because of the formatting. We've had a lot of issues with the formatting. So just to get it look like what you saw was a big deal because everything has to have the ability to be edited in Elementor. If not, this is all for nothing. And then you're going to be copy and pasting, and that in itself would just drive you crazy. So, we're there in terms of the data being there. Now we just have to make the template, and that's it. So I'll send that information over to Cersei and she can share it out with whomever. And once you send that out to me and you approve something, then we'll get that put into the back end. And then anything you work on will automatically fall into place. So for example, headers will all be crimson red, if that's what you want. Subheaders will all be a darker version of crimson red. All the font text will be Arial. All the font text color will be a very close to black. So not black, but maybe like a charcoal color. So it's not, just a little bit different, so on and so forth,
okay, that sounds so wonderful. Thanks for that. I've got on my mind, I got on the list of things about doing branding. I know you're sending me something from Julianne to, Julianne works with Alex, by the way.
Yeah, she's my lead developer. She's awesome to work with. So
and she's like a master of everything, quite frankly. And well, as is Alex. And so she's sending that sort of list of questions so we can get this sort of formatting going. And before we know it, we'll be done. So
yep.
Thanks
But at
so
least
much.
the existing site will be over this weekend. And then hopefully by next week, we can start making decisions on the new site and then even start working on it next week as well. So
Yeah. And Candace gave us some clapping hands. So.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you all. Have a
Okay.
nice week.
You too. And
You too.
Oh, and Jessica gave you clapping hands.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And if everyone wants to stay on, we'll just do one last little final thing. Thanks,
Take care.
Alex. Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you.
So thanks very much, everybody, for listening in about the new website. This has been a long time coming. Alex is donating a lot of his time to making sure that we have a site that works. And yeah, so, and I appreciate your patience listening and working through all that with us and all of your great comments and feedback. And if I hope, did everyone get the message I sent out earlier, just with some comments about?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. If you haven't had a chance to do the editorial form, like please fill that out. And if you know anyone who wants to be an editor, have them fill the editor form out. And I've also sent out a sign up form because I know that some folks want like one-on-one sort of overviews of each of our communications platforms. Just sign up for a time and we can go through it. It's a little bit easier than just going back and forth over email with everybody.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, so there was an invite for the editors. There was an email from you about the associate editor thing, which I accepted, and I made my profile on Scholastica. And also, Dr. Candice, she's sent me a couple of articles for review, which I'm reviewing. But I want to know if it is, it's showing to you or not in terms of me accepting that, because last time I kind of tagged you in email with Dr. Candice about perhaps she mentioned that I am yet to accept it. So I think this is a glitch.
So I can speak to that, Cameron. I'm not really sure what it is that you think is not happening. So you're definitely approved as an editor. I've assigned you to the 2 articles. So I'm not sure, like,
just wanted to confirm that because previously I couldn't see. I just started editing those couple of articles, so I just want to know if it is being is it visible to you on your profile?
Yes.
Just want to know that.
Yeah, I'm
that's pretty much.
You can see I just shared where you can see you're in the list. That makes you official.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I just wanted to put your mind at ease. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and let me see. So, and in that, yeah, if folks could go in and just pick a time from that, from the form that I sent out, it's a link. Let me see here.
Circe, I'm wondering, I didn't check for the email. Did you send that just to people who have been interested in team